Hello YouTubers, Rezome TV here again, just coming at you guys with another guide for tanking on the Protection Warrior in 6.0.2. I released a video yesterday and it was kind of basic, just kind of brushing the surface on everything. Today it's going to be an in-depth guide. We're going to get much more specific. We're going to talk about rotation, cooldowns, glyphs, stat priority, talents, if you should match sockets, the whole 9 yards. And keep in mind, please, that this is for 6.0.2. We're all level 90. The numbers are kind of crazy right now because everything is scaled for level 100. So keep that in mind. So we'll start it off with tanking rotations, single target. Now, single target is like 1 to 2 targets, okay? You're going to start off with a Berserker Rage. You're going to charge in there, Shield Slam, Revenge, Shield Barrier, and Devastate is going to be your filler spell. Devastate's a very important filler spell though, because it gives you a 30% chance to reset the cooldown on your Shield Slam, okay, which is a major threat generator and a big rage generator as well. And that's pretty much it for your single target rotation. For your AoE rotation, this one's a little bit more involved. You can get kind of crazy here. You're going to Berserker Rage, Heroic Leap in, or Charge. I like to Heroic Leap because it does do a little bit of damage when you land. Now, you can pop Bloodbath and Thunderclap, or you can pop Bloodbath and Dragon Roar to kind of knock everything down, spread that bleed. You're going to spread your deep wounds, and you're going to spread the dot from Bloodbath on all those enemies around you. Okay, and right after that, you want a Demo Shout, all right? Demo Shout's really important. It's a 20% damage reduction for 8 seconds, okay? So you're taking less damage for 8 seconds. Really good cooldown, okay? You want to use it frequently. After that, you want to get your shield block up, okay? General rule, guys, shield block is for AoE tanking. Shield barrier is for single target tanking, all right? And I'll go over why in a brief moment. So after you get your shield block up, you get a nice 6-second buff on you of the block. Then you're going to go back to your single target rotation, okay? Same thing of Shield Slam, Revenge, and Devastate as your filler. Also make sure to Thunderclap on cooldown. And that's the basics of the AoE rotation right there. Now, getting into specifics in regards to shield block and shield barrier. Shield barrier is... Here's why I say that shield barrier is for single target, 1 to 2 targets, and shield block is for 3+ targets. Shield block is going to mitigate incoming melee attacks, all melee attacks, okay? It's actually a buff it puts on you for 6 seconds, all right? And you have 2 charges of this buff that you can add to yourself, okay? So you shield block, you get that going, that's on you for 6 seconds. It counts for every melee attack. Now, it does not mitigate special melee attacks, and it does not mitigate bleeds, okay? So please keep that in mind, all right? This is where we as tanks really have to know the fight. You really got to know your class, and you have to know, okay, what type of abilities am I dealing with here? What boss abilities am I dealing with? Shield barrier, on the other hand, will absorb all types of damage. Bleeds, all physical damage, and magical damage alike. Now, shield barrier is pretty cool because minimum, it's going to cost you 20 rage. But shield barrier can cost up to 60 rage. And with that residual 40 rage, it's going to turn it into the absorb. All right. So the more rage you spend on shield barrier, maxing out at 60 rage, of course, the more absorb you're going to get from it, the more benefit you're going to get from it, okay? Now, shield barrier, I say, is for single target, 1 to 2 target, because if you run into a pack, or charge into a pack of 5, 6, 7 mobs, and they're just smashing you in the face, your shield barrier is going to go very, very, very quickly. I mean, within 2 seconds, that thing's going to be off you, all right? And I'm not talking about, you know, when you outgear content, obviously your shield barrier is going to be more powerful. Talking same level content, you're where you should be, okay? 5-mans, heroics, normals, mythic content, whatever you're doing now or in Warlords of Draenor, all right? that barrier is going to go super quick. So if you run into a pack like that or 3 or plus targets, you want to use shield block, okay? Because that gives you a nice 6-second buff for 60 rage, and it gives you plenty of time for your shield slam cooldown to reset, you to get revenge procs, and you to get your devastate going, all right? Very important. Next thing I want to talk about with you guys is the talents, okay? Talents are super important, all right? Pretty simple. There's not too much debate, though, about the talents. I mean, you guys should be picking, you only have like a couple choices. So our first tier talent that I want to talk about is going to be double time. I'm a big fan of double time. I like the ability to charge twice in a row, although it only does generate rage or additional rage once. And that's fine. No big deal. We're not doing it for the rage. You're doing it for the mobility. Mobility is key as a tank. Saves raid members. You guys know that. Next tier I want to talk about, enrage regeneration. The best talent by far of this tier. You definitely want it, and I'm going to tell you why. We'll get into it a little bit more in the later in the video. Next tier, heavy repercussions. This is really your only choice. It's going to help you with your threat generation. The more damage, you will do more damage with your shield slam when your shield barrier or shield charge is active. Next talent I want to talk about is Dragon Roar. This for me is an obvious choice. I like Dragon Roar. As far as an AoE stun goes, 1 minute cooldown. Reason being, you run in there, you hit this ability, those mobs are going to be on. They will not leave you. They will not leave you because you ignore all armor, and it's always a critical strike. So there's a pack of 8 mobs. You run in there, Thunderclap, Dragon Roar. They're stuck on you. They're not going anywhere. Next talent we're going to talk about, Vigilance. Vigilance is the way to go here. Here's why. Safeguard will replace Intervene. All right. Now, there's no reason to do that because Intervene is a perfectly good ability. You already have it. So why waste a talent? Okay. Get Vigilance. It's a 2-minute cooldown. You couple it up with a nice mouse over macro, and you can reduce damage on anyone you want for 30%. Okay, for 12 seconds. And it takes the cooldown away from your taunt, which you don't really need. That's not really a big deal, but it's more for the damage reduction on anybody. And there are raid mechanics in Warlords of Draenor. There's raid mechanics in Siege of Orgrimmar that cause a non-tank type archetype to take focus damage. So this is a really good talent to go with. Next talent, Bloodbath. All the way. It's the way to go. You run in there, AoE tanking, single target tanking, you Thunderclap, you Dragon Roar, you're going to spread this bleed on everything. It's amazing. Not even for the 50% reduction in movement speed. That's not even a big deal. It's just the dot that's such a powerful cooldown to have. So you definitely want to use Bloodbath. And level 100, which regrettably, I cannot show you in action. You only have 2 choices here as a tank. You're going to go between Anger Management or Ravager. Personally, for me, I like Ravager. Ravager seems very cool. But Anger Management, the fact that every time you spend 30 rage, you're going to reduce the cooldown of, major tank abilities. Those are big. Especially like Mocking Banner, Bloodbath. Like, those are some big talents right there. And they're going to help your survivability, absolutely. Next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to go over our wonderful, wonderful glyphs. Now, the glyphs now in 6.0.2 are much more different than the ones that we'll be using at level 100 in Warlords of Draenor. The glyphs now, you're going to go with Glyph of Bull Rush, you're going to go with Glyph of Heroic Leap, and the third one is Glyph of Unending Rage. Okay, that's going to increase your rage by 20. Glyph of Heroic Leap is going to reduce the range of your Heroic Leap by 15 yards, but it's going to reduce the cooldown by 15 seconds. Okay, and again, mobility is key as a tank. You want that. Glyph of Bull Rush is going to generate an additional 15 rage when you charge. So those are very important. And like I said, once we hit level 100, the glyphs are going to change. I want to talk about stat priority now. This is I've seen some wild shit on the internet about how to gem, and I mean there's no reforging anymore obviously, but how to gem your gear and what type of gear you should be going for. And I have to say, every guide that I've seen, I'm not going to mention any websites, but these are popular websites, is dead wrong. You definitely you should not be going for all crit. This is not 5.4.8. This is 6.0.2. This is the future. This is Warlords of Draenor. This is pre-patch X-Pack. Okay, Blizzard is taking it back to the classic style, the classic gameplay style. All right, what is the classic gameplay style? You're a tank. Your job is to soak damage and survive. That's your job. Self-preservation, okay? That's key. So bonus armor, it's going to be on your necklace, going to be on your rings. I'm not sure if it's going to be on trinkets yet in Warlords of Draenor. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's exclusive only to rings, necklaces, and backs, cloaks, all right? So if you have a piece of gear with bonus armor on it versus one that doesn't, your choice is obvious. Bonus armor is a big deal because this is directly affecting the damage reduction, okay? So you definitely want bonus armor. It's huge. Next most important stat, mastery. Mastery, mastery, mastery. Mastery is very important because, again, this also affects your damage mitigation. And this is going to affect your chance to block by X percentage. It is also going to affect your chance to critically block by X percentage. So bonus armor is number 1 and mastery is number 2. Now, as far as third and fourth most important stat, I mean, I've seen quite a bit of debate about these two, crit or haste. What should we go for? I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter. You could go for haste. It's just going to increase your attack speed and your spellcasting speed. Well, as a warrior, you don't have to worry about that. And crit, it's going to affect the critical strike chance of your heals and your attacks. So you could go crit, absolutely, that's what I did. But it's completely up to you. As far as your gem slots go, what I did, in my red slots, I went with the Keen Vermilion Onyx, which is 10 haste, 10 mastery. And in my yellow slots, which is all my gear has, is just red and yellow, I went with the Fractured Sun Radiance, which is 20 mastery. Okay? And don't forget, in your prismatic sockets, prismatic socket, you want to add 20 mastery. Mastery is very important, guys. Like I said, you want to match your socket bonuses, okay? Most of your socket bonuses is going to be strength and stamina, okay? Stamina is important. You have to be able to soak the hits, all right? Have to be able to soak the hits. And, of course, your legendary meta gem you should have right now. If not, you definitely want the tank one so you can gain the buff of fortitude. Very, very important. And now, finally, bringing us to tank cooldowns. I've been waiting for this the entire video. Very exciting. Tank cooldowns. All the ones I'm going to go over here are all 1 minute cooldowns. Start with Dragon War. Dragon War is a fantastic talent. Fantastic talent. It's a nice it's a nice tank cooldown, okay? If you know that the mob or mobs can be knocked down and knocked back, save it, okay? Especially if there's going to be a time of heavy incoming damage and you can save this, do it. Just hold off on it. Okay, again, remember, it's self-preservation. It's not about damage. It's not about DPS meters. Next one, Demo Shout. This one's awesome too. It's only a minute cooldown, 20% damage reduction on you for 8 seconds. Really good, really strong, very useful for AoE packs. Next one is Bloodbath. I love Bloodbath. You put a dot on everything around you. It's great for AoE packs. You jump in there, Heroic Leap in there, Bloodbath, Thunderclap, or you can always Heroic Leap, Bloodbath, and Dragon Roar. A lot of damage, a lot of threat generation from this talent. Enraged Regen, I also like for the tank cooldowns, 1 minute cooldown. Really powerful talent, especially if you couple it with a tank ability, which we'll go over very shortly. Intimidating Shout, this is a 1.5 minute cooldown. It's going to cause your target and surrounding targets to flee. Make sure it's glyphed. If it's not, you're going to piss people off. All right, you don't want to send mobs running every which way, and then before you know it, you aggro everything, and it's a wipe. Now the next we're going to go over is 2 minute cooldowns. There's only 2 of them: Vigilance and Shield Wall. Okay, I went over Vigilance a little bit. 30% damage reduction for 12 seconds. Really solid, and it's very, very important. Like I said, couple it with a mouse macro, and you'll be golden. Shield Wall. Love this ability. 2 minute cooldown, and a 40% damage reduction. 40% damage reduction. That's the original, well, one of the original oh shit buttons that a Protection Warrior had. Next, all 3 minute cooldowns. Mocking Banner. Mocking Banner is huge. I'm so glad they didn't get rid of this. I could care less about Skull Banner and Demo Banner, and Mocking Banner is phenomenal. You can place this banner up to 30 yards away, okay, and it's going to taunt every 6 seconds all the mobs around it within 15 yards, and it's going to force the mobs to focus attacks on you, the tank, all right? And what's really cool about it is when you place it, you can intervene it as long as it's within 25 yards, because intervene only has a range of 25 yards. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Don't place it too far away. Last Stand is the next ability. Last Stand is a 3 minute cooldown, and it's going to increase your maximum health by 30%. Now here's where you're going to use Enraged Regeneration, or if you're a Draenei, you can use Gift of the Naru. Okay. Now why use your healing cooldowns with this talent? Or at least do your best to use them together. Because Gift of the Naru and Enraged Regeneration are heals based on your health percentage. That's very important. And if you have an ability that can increase your health percentage by 30%, and Enraged Regen is going to insta-heal you for 10% of your max HP, plus an additional 20% over 5 seconds. And then Gift of the Naru, a 3 minute cooldown, is going to put a hot on you for 20% of your max HP for 5 seconds. Really, really powerful stuff. Make sure you use those. Make sure they coincide with Last Stand, okay? Unless absolutely necessary. I mean, Enraged Regen is a 1 minute cooldown, so you should be popping that fairly often, more often than not. All right? So I want to thank you guys for tuning into the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please, if you want to see something, you can email me directly at reshometv@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Twitch. We'll be live streaming on Twitch November 13th. My friends and I, we're going to be streaming for 72 hours straight. It's going to be really, really crazy. It's going to be a lot of energy drinks that will be consumed for sure. We're going to try and hit level 100 in less than 72 hours. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.